Hi, Jason Hoddle here. My craft name is Fluffy. I'm a tarot reader, and I'm excited to work with you through tarot to help you discover the best possible version of yourself. Together, we can help you tell your story, and we could also project the story you desire into your future. I am a three-legged wolf. I lost my lower leg last year through an accident, but through that accident, I found my humor. And through humor, I found my magic. And through humor, I found love. Through humor, I've discovered all things are possible. So give me a call, text me. I'm all over Facebook. Use the hashtag with the fluff through social media to track me down. Love ya. Bye.
A hand-carved natural quartz crystal ball made into a necklace for divination on the go. Crystal balls have been used for centuries in healing and cleansing rituals, as well as for divination. The sphere represents infinity and the circle of life. While a wand uses focused energy, the crystal ball sends out energy in all directions. This makes it a great resource for discovering the complete circumstances surrounding a question.
Aromagees Botanica, a metaphysical store for mind, body, and spirit. Oils, herbs, candles, crystals, teas, handmade soaps, tarot cards, everything you need on your magical journey. Daily psychic and tarot readings, classes, witchcraft, pagan, and hoodoo supplies, most of it made in-house. Try our free Dress Your Own candle station. From spiritual gifts to ritual supplies to religious books, we have the widest selection of metaphysical products in all of Tennessee since 1999. It is our goal to inspire everyone to explore their spirituality in their own way by offering information and products in a nurturing multicultural environment. Open 7 days a week. 223 Donaldson Pike, Nashville, Tennessee, or visit us online at aromagees.com.
Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network's YouTube channel. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can find us on Facebook and stay up to date on our Facebook group, or find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcasts can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Google Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for podcasts, hosts, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's weekly podcast series, The Seance. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Meckes. If this is your first time tuning in, please click subscribe, like, share, comment, and also follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. Today's guest, we all know him. You've all seen him. One of the hardest working actors in Hollywood, Eric Roberts. His career began with a leading role in King of the Gypsies, which he received his first Golden Globe Award nomination, following his second in Bob Fosse's Star 80. Today, we will discuss his journey and touch on some of the metaphysical and paranormal experiences. In closing, we'll take a look at his new project, The Natural Child. Let's welcome to the show, Eric Roberts. How you doing, brother?
I could not be better. Thanks for asking, and good morning.
And good morning to you. Well, I tell you, man, there's you have been divinely blessed and gifted through your life. And this all started probably way back in June of 1981. And we'll probably touch on a couple other different things. But the busiest working actor in Hollywood. You've been in a lot of films.
I've had a lot of
A
fun.
lot of. When did you lose count?
Well, I lost count about 75.
Wow.
I kept track until about 73, 74, 75, and then I got confused, and then I got lost.
I don't blame you. There's more important things to worry about.
That's a good point. Thank you.
Definitely. So, talking about the paranormal, metaphysical, everybody has their experiences, and then some aren't willing to talk about it, and some just don't know what to make of it. When did this all start for you? Now, as far as let's go back to 1981. What actually happened?
I had an accident, and I was in a hospital. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, and then I was in the hospital for another over 2 weeks, and in that interim, I had someone come to my room and talk to me very seriously about my injury,
Yeah.
and stuff, and it turned out that nobody ever came into my room. So that was very peculiar, and but I kind of wrote that off as my brain trauma. But then you jump cut many years later into the house I'm in now. I get up in the middle of the night, as I often do, and in our kitchen, it's an old house. It was built about 1932. Not about. It was built in 32, and it's got a standing oven in the kitchen. It's a brick oven. It's open. You can make anything anyway. We don't use it, but it's very old. And I go into the kitchen, and it's by the sink. I go into the kitchen, and I run myself a glass of water. That's back in the days when you drank out of the sink, and out came what looked like smoke from the opening from that little oven, and it came into a form of a woman. And I'm sitting there thinking, am I asleep? Am I awake? What's going on? I can't believe I'm seeing this. And I pinch myself. I talk to myself. I say, I am here. I am awake. I am conscious. And this is happening.
Yeah.
And then she stands there and it becomes almost 3-dimensional. She's like 2.5 dimensional, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
And my next step is to touch her, but I see if I touch her, my hand's going to go through her. That is so weird. I can't believe I'm even thinking that. And then she goes back in the oven and goes away. Now I go instantly into the bathroom, look at myself in the mirror. Am I awake? And do all this stuff, because I smoked a little marijuana in my day. And so I'm like wondering if there's some kind of transfer or something in my past.
Flashback.
But so there are entities that are 3-dimensional entities that we live with, that we're unaware of because we choose to be, because it's more comfortable, I suppose. But yes, there are those things that people find to be unbelievable, but they exist and they're with us. So lead me through this properly so I can be of assistance to you.
So and this has happened currently in the place that you live now, correct?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Is it still happening, or?
No, that's the only time I ever saw her. But I feel her presence now all the time. And I know that's probably psychological. I know because I know she's real. So I feel her.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that or if I really feel her. But I know it happened to me. And I know I was not hallucinating or sleepwalking. So
now, a lot of things happens to the body, physically, mentally, psychologically, spiritually. When we all have accidents. I was in a motorcycle accident many years ago with an out of body experience. And do you feel that the accident that you had early on changed something, shifted something?
Well, when you suffer brain trauma, you take this wonderful mechanism and you twist it, or you injure it, or you bruise it. You do something where it is not its whole self anymore. And
Yeah.
it has to compensate. And it knows how to compensate. It will compensate to great degrees for injuries, idiocy. It does
Yeah.
compensate. It's a great tool. And so over time, it compensated. And I came back, but I came back differently. I did not come back with the same tools.
Yeah.
And I came back with less tools. I came back with different tools. My different tools I tried to turn into better tools, but my tools were different and I had to work with them differently. And so I was a different person. The person I was with when I had the accident, I was with after the accident. And they were very sadly definite about the fact I was a different person.
Mm,
And they said I was nicer. They said I had a much quicker temperament, but I was nicer,
yeah.
whatever that means. But anyway, I forgot the question.
Basically, how it changed you.
Yeah,
You went from A to B, and
yeah,
it
A
a
to B.
completely different shift. And it
Yeah.
shifted you spiritually, mentally. Uh, your character changed, your temperament changed. Do you feel it was like a spiritual blessing or a divine blessing that accident? It was almost like it was written that somehow it, and you'd probably understand that better than anybody. That it was written, that it was like scripted. It's like, okay, maybe thinking back at it, that maybe it was supposed to happen. It was written to happen because something about you had to change.
Well, not to be cliche,
Hmm.
but Nietzsche did say it best. It's Choose Your Runaway Train. That's why I even know it exists. Nietzsche said it best. He said, "What doesn't kill you will make you stronger."
Yeah.
And it didn't kill me, and but it threatened to. Therefore, it did make me stronger because I had to either overcome it or be overwhelmed by it. And
Yeah.
I chose the former, and got lucky because I had some good people around me. Nobody understands that kind of injury though because you can't see it. And when a
Yeah.
person looks okay and they speak okay and they can still learn lines, it's like he's okay, but you're not okay because you're not who you were. And when you're an adult and you're handed a whole different point of view of your life, suddenly, like in an instant, bam, you have a different point of view on everything. And you
Yeah.
don't know if you're a good actor anymore. Oh my God, maybe I lost my touch. You start to threaten it because your whole physicality changes. Because when you hurt the left side of your head, the right side of your body gets behind. And
Yeah.
I hit the left side of my head, and the right side of my body was one full beat behind the left side. But nobody can see that, but I can feel it.
Yeah.
And they can see it if they really watch me. Oh, he's got a little gimp there. But it's not really noticeable. But you have to go through a lot to achieve a little with that kind of injury. It's very, very arduous.
Absolutely. How long was the recovery till you got back, get back on stage, back behind the camera?
Oh, to get back on stage is only about 4 months. To get
Yeah.
back where I was in control of being on stage, it took about 9 months. And to have my tools where I was as in control of my instrument and as and all my emotions as available, it took about 18 months. And
Mm,
so it was a comeback process, and I was in a Broadway play,
yeah.
so it was a bit spooky, but but it all worked out.
Blessings. And that's
My first film after my accident was Star 80, and
Really?
which I consider my very best work because I had my very best director, writer director, and so and I just did what he wanted me to do. What do you want to see? He would tell me, I'd go do it. So it was all his performance, and I basically also played him. So it was kind of easy for me.
Yeah. That do you feel that this also may have? I mean, we can't experience something that never happened, but do you feel that this incident may have improved your acting, changed something about how you act?
We have no way of knowing.
Exactly.
I look at my first movie. I look at my second movie called Paul's Case. A little short thing I did is it's short film, about an hour and 10 minutes long. I did that for the American Short Story Series, and that's one of the best pieces of work I've ever been responsible for. And what was it, 22, and I was just, oh my God, I was ready. And so when I had the accident, I look back on that work and go, God, I don't know if I got that anymore. I don't know how to touch that anymore, but I did. I just had a different avenue to get to it.
Yeah, because I'm not familiar with the dates on some of the releases, but like the Coca-Cola Kid, was that before Coca-Cola Kid and like the ambulance?
The ambulance was right after the accident, and the Coca-Cola Kid was about 3 years after the accident. The Coca-Cola Kid was the time I was really back physically. Yeah.
Wow. It shows it. That's a darn good movie.
Yeah, that's a
good character. Yeah. That and the ambulance. That threw me off. Now, not to get off subject, but was that in the ambulance, was that the actual studio for Marvel?
No, the ambulance.
Yeah.
We shot some of that in Queens, the old Marx Brothers Studios. We shot it all on the streets of Queens and the Bronx. It was on the streets, dude. That was an independent movie back in the days when as a movie star you weren't supposed to make those, and it was just pure, Larry being insane, and we went out there and made a movie on the streets. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
Larry Cohen, I'm referring to.
Yeah, Stan Lee does his little cameo.
There you go. Yeah, Stan. He's a cool guy, man. I miss him. He was a lovely man.
Yeah.
He told my wife back in the early 80s, he told my wife he would come into her office. She worked at Larimar. She cast all their shows. He would come into the office and he would talk to her about how all these characters are going to all be superstars of their own movies, because Baba, he'd go on and on about his dream. Yeah. And she said they all thought he was a little nuts, but they all loved him because his stuff was kind of cool, man. It was kind of cool. And so it was all they were always really good to him. But he had a dream and he saw it through. Stan Lee.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, he's a legend now.
Yeah.
Jeez. God bless him, man. He left behind a huge empire.
Didn't he?
Woo! 50 years from now, somebody will name his, say his name, be like, who's that? But you know his work. You'll know his work.
Yeah. It's so true. Yeah.
Now, being in character in some of your films, have you ever noticed anything strange, either on or off set, that might, any paranormal experiences during during filming? Too far into character and you experience weird things?
I've played several people in biography mode who have lived. I've played several real people. And whenever I play real people, I'm positive. And I know this sounds insane, so you have to be careful. But I'm positive I get visited by the people because it's important to them.
Yeah.
And because stuff happens. I mean, small stuff like the toothbrushes in different places. I mean, small stuff that if you talk about it, it sounds silly and forced. So you don't talk, you just see it and you note it and you go, oh yeah. And it's not, there is absolutely none of this, even if you're a total believer that we walked among them, we can touch them if we could. They're not going to harm you. They're not.